Algae, singular alga, is an informal term for a large, diverse group of photosynthetic organisms which are not necessarily closely related, thus are polyphyletic. One definition is that algae have chlorophyll as their primary photosynthetic pigment and lack a sterile covering of cells around their reproductive cells. Some authors exclude all prokaryotes, thus do not consider cyanobacteria, blue-green algae, as algae.
Algae constitute a polyphyletic group since they do not include a common ancestor, and although their plastids seem to have a single origin, from cyanobacteria, they were acquired in different ways. Diatoms and brown algae are examples of algae with secondary chloroplasts derived from an endosymbiotic red alga. Algae exhibit a wide range of reproductive strategies, from simply sexual cell division to complex forms of sexual reproduction. Some unicellular species of green algae, many golden algae, euglenids, flagellates, and other algae have become heterotrophs, also called colorless or apophlotic algae, sometimes parasitic, relying entirely on external energy sources and have limited or no photosynthetic apparatus.
Accordingly, the modern study of marine and freshwater algae is called either phycology or algology, depending on whether the Greek or Latin root is used. The table below describes the composition of the three major groups of algae. Phylogeny based on plastid not nucleus cytoplasmic genealogy, Linnaeus, in species Plantarum, the starting point for modern botanical nomenclature, recognized 14 genera of algae, of which only 4 are currently considered among algae. In 1768, Samuel Gottlieb Gmelin from 1744 to 1774 published the History of Aquarum, the first work dedicated to marine algae and the first book on marine biology to use the then new binomial nomenclature of Linnaeus.
Furthermore, groups like the apicomplexans are also parasites derived from ancestors that possessed plastids, but are not included in any group traditionally seen as algae. The first land plants probably evolved from shallow freshwater charophyte algae, much like chara, almost 500 million years ago. The most complex forms are found among the green algae, in a lineage that eventually led to the higher land plants.
Phytohormones are found not only in higher plants, but in algae, too. Commonly, in sexual reproduction of unicellular and colonial algae, two specialized, sexually compatible, haploid gametes make physical contact and fuse to form a zygote. Meiosis has been shown to occur in many different species of algae. To some degree, the distribution of algae is subject to floristic discontinuities caused by geographical features, such as Antarctica, long distances of ocean or general landmasses.
In very high densities, algal blooms, these algae may discolor the water and outcompete, poison, or asphyxiate other life forms. Scientists developed the ATS, which consists of shallow, 100-foot raceways of nylon netting where algae colonies can form, and studied its efficacy for 3 years. Researchers collected and dried the nutrient-rich algae from the ATS and studied its potential as an organic fertilizer. Algae are national foods of many nations. China consumes more than 70 species, including pak choi, a cyanobacterium considered a vegetable. Japan, over 20 species. The oils from some algae have high levels of unsaturated fatty acids.
The form of chirophytes is quite different from those of reds and browns, because they have distinct nodes, separated by internostems. They appear in the coralline algae and the Hildenbrandiales, as well as the browns.